Disclaimer: I am just a humble Genshin Impact fan. I do not own any of the rights to Genshin Impact, or any of the content within it, such as the lore books. Those specifically belong to Hoyoverse. What I do have, however, are friends with things like learning disabilities, such as dyslexia and ADHD, or very little free time, making reading the lore books either in-game or on wiki pages hard for them. Our solution to these problems has been for me to make these recordings so that they can listen to them and still get to enjoy Genshin lore like the rest of us. I have chosen to upload these recordings to YouTube as a way of sharing them with other fans within the community who might be in similar situations. I am admittedly no voice actress, trained narrator, or video editor, but I have tried my best, so please be gentle with me. Therefore, without further ado, let's get into today's story. 1,000 Years of Loneliness. The beginning of the Springvale Hunter's tragic fantasy journey. Where did misfortune first befall him? What marks the start and finish of the 1,000-year journey of loneliness? Let this first volume of the 1,000 Years of Loneliness be your guide through the fantastical fog that is the life of Gothson. Rewarded in Lisa's story quest chapter Tempus Fugit during Act 1, Troublesome Work. Many years later, when Gothson's ankle would become trapped in the same unlucky beast trap he had laid, he must have recalled the afternoon when his father had taken him to the city to take part in the Ludi Harpastum. Gothson's life was, without a doubt, unfortunate, but he could never quite recall when his misfortunes begun. He spent his childhood in Springvale, under the protection of the Spring Fairy. Indeed, all the hunters lived peaceful and carefree lives. When Gothson was 7 summers old, his father took him to Mondstat to watch the circus at Ludi Harpastum. This was the first time Gothson had entered the city in his life. He was held spellbound by the aromas of the sweets and roasted meats, the brilliant lights and coloured paper, the clowns who trained wild boars, and the magicians and their tricks. In his dazzling childhood memories, Gothson dimly saw his father walking into the revelling crowds, passing through an archway marked with the words "Pile 'em Up Contest," and slowly moving further away from him. But his attention was drawn to the shining fairy of the spring. Perhaps he came to understand in his later years that the spirit at the festival was no more than an actor paid 20 more a day, but in his young mind that sight was always one of fantastical imagination. Gothson was lulled to sleep by the Spring Fairy's stories, and far abroad did he wander and adventure in his boundless dreams. In an adventurous dream he saw a rainbow jam pour forth from the mouth of an ancient relief. Gothson was about to step up and partake of it, when his dream was shattered by the sound of fracas. "Run!" His father's panicked, pudgy face, smeared all over with fruit juice and meat sauce, dominated his vision. Over his shoulder, Gothson could see a towering stack of roasted meat under a glowing red light, tottering and trembling as it bent his way amid the horrified cries of the crowd. In his flight, Gothson's father knocked a fat lady over, and through his own hip. At once he fell, his full weight collapsing upon his son. Then, the leaning tower of roasted meat collapsed to echoing screams. The Knights of Avonius took 3 days to finally clear up the roast meat, vegetables, food items, and other odds and ends that had been scattered all around the square, not to mention carry off those who had gotten a little too out of their gourds. From then on, they were forced to declare all future Ludi Harpastums would have to be held outside the city. So it was then that Gothson's house was short 2 hunters and had 2 sick people added to their number, all in one night. What did they get for it? A gold-plated champion's medal, 2 days late to boot. Other information. The book title as well as its text are references to 100 Years of Solitude, a novel by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. There was once a popular fan theory that Gothson was an ancestor to Bennett because of the lines, "Gothson's whole life was, without a doubt, unfortunate, but he could never quite recall when his misfortunes had begun." This theory was disproved during the story quest Sunspray Summer Resort, released in version 5.8 though. The name of Lisa's story quest translates from Latin to English as "Time Flies." Other names. Sources. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Ad Astra Ever Sosk.